Well, we'd like to welcome back RE/MAX specialist Maria Raymer to explain why selling by owner can actually be a costly mistake. So thank you so much for joining us. Always great to see you.
You too.
Thank you so much. So I think a lot of people might think that this way would save them money.
Right.
But you say that's not the case.
No, I mean, there's been plenty of studies done that it will cost you more to sell on your own, actually. Selling on your own averages about 10% less than a listed property.
Really?
And commissions are far less than that.
And then you got to do all the work yourself, which do we really want to do all of that?
Right, so it really doesn't make sense.
So, and then I think too, if we don't really know, then pricing is probably a challenge as well.
Right, yeah.
Or if we're not in the know, I should say.
Yeah, if you're not in the market and you don't know what's happening with the market, which is ever changing, it's very difficult to be competitively priced. So it's really important to have an expert helping you along with the pricing, because if you go too high or too low, it's going to affect your sale and ultimately affect your net proceeds in a very negative way. So pricing is extremely important. There's only one tool I know of, it's online evaluation, and it's usually off. I mean, even Zillow's online valuation, it can be off as much as 30%.
Oh my gosh, that's a big number.
So I wouldn't use that.
Oh, okay, good to know. And then is time a factor then too for selling by owner?
For sure. I mean, I think people think it's so easy to sell real estate, and it's really not. It's very, very time consuming. And if you're taking on the task of selling your own home, you have to vet out, you know, the phone calls, the buyers, schedule appointments, you have to be familiar with paperwork, you know, there's just negotiating the sale. All of this takes a great deal of time, and it can be daunting if you've never done it before, and even if you have, most people are super busy and they don't have the time to take on a whole nother job.
Right, because at that point it would be considered a whole other job.
Exactly.
And then you mentioned paperwork, so then it makes me think about legal fees could potentially, or you know, you could get in legal trouble even.
Yeah, it's such a great question, and I think it's something that people just do not think about. But yes, there are legal implications if you say and do the wrong thing. And you know, realtors know the law, and like for fair housing, for example, I mean, it's very simple to say the wrong thing and not know. And next thing you know, if you do your paperwork the wrong way, you say the wrong thing, next thing you know, you land yourself in a lawsuit, and then it can be very, very expensive, stressful, and you know, so you want to avoid that by having some protection for sure.
Yeah, that's a little scary. That's like the least thing we want to deal with, right? We're already stressed with trying to sell.
That's right.
And then with that on top of it. Now, I bet marketing then could also be a challenge, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not in the business, you really don't have any resources to get your property out there. I mean, we're in that circle of buyers, agents, online marketing, and everything's so tech now. Everything is advanced, and it's not as simple as it used to be. You don't just put a sign in front of the yard and think, oh, it's going to sell right away. I mean, that's just not effective.
Yeah, back in the day, we would just drive through neighborhoods. Now everyone's just looking online, and if you're not marketing online, which you really can't much for buy owner.
The only, you know, Zillow offers free space for sale by owner, but the problem with that is they feed the leads to the agents that are paying for the leads, so they basically drive those leads away from the property and the owner who's on there. So it's really not an effective form of marketing or advertising at all. Working with a top agent who's aggressive with their technology marketing is the best way to go.
Right. And then what is the buyer's perception on when they see a home that's for sale by owner?
Yeah, I mean, that's another really great question, because you know, buyers get nervous dealing with for sale by owners. They want a professional involved in the sale, and they may avoid that house and that property altogether, just because they don't want to get involved in something that could cause them problems in the end. So they do shy away from properties listed by owner.
Well, and I could see maybe even safety being a factor at that point then.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that when people list their own house, they open it up to strangers. Everybody come on in, my house is for sale, but you wouldn't normally do something like that. And you know, professional agents, we vet these buyers out. I mean, we know who they are and what's going on before we ever give them access to someone's home, not just for our safety, but your safety as well, and your family's safety, to make sure we know who's coming through that property.
Very important stuff, Maria. Always great information. So if somebody is interested in maybe reaching out to you, how do they do that?
Yeah, mariaraymer.com.
Okay, very easy. And she also has a blog on her website. She is in the know. Over 25 years experience. Always great to see you, and have a great week.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you so much. And if you'd like to see this interview again, everyone, just head to First Coast News Plus.